Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's make a choice together. Okay, so I as the primary player of Small, have been thinking about this one quite a lot because I really was like, I had a lot of reasons to go one way or the other. One, Small's been pretty resistant to Phoenix on stage, basically, if you will, on screen. And so the idea of wanting to sleep with him as far as romantic purposes are concerned doesn't feel anyway realistic to me at all. And just because it's highlighted in pink and has little sparkles on the gym doesn't mean it's specifically romantic. I was saying, but the thing is when I was thinking about it, I was like, one, we have slept with Phoenix before, and he was, if you will, like I said before, a perfect gentleman. Like, he didn't try anything. And we have shown ourselves to be, oh no, hang on.
Oh no, we have shown ourselves to sneeze!
To be sneezing.
Woohoo!
To be a sneeze. Pardon me. Alright, anyway, to be like uncomfortable, insecure, adrift, losing our identity, frustrated, lonely, and, basically all of these things where you would want comfort. We ourselves were just looking at the time and going, what day is it? How long do I have to decide? Basically, that more of that sort of hammering it into ourselves, that we feel basically lost and sort of dragged along in this experience of going, it's just eventually going to happen on this day. How many more days do I have before it happens to me, kind of thing.
Right.
And so my thoughts are ultimately that while we have shared a bed with Phoenix before, so she doesn't need to figure out what he would be like, to sleep with. Is he safe? Is he comfortable? Will he, basically respect my physical boundaries?
Right.
Because she should already know all those things.
Even though we've already
really
basically reestablished them. Like you said, I'm not going to try anything. Like, that's almost, again, like a thing of going, like, that's where I say, again, for the writers, they really don't want you to like Phoenix, which I don't really understand why.
It's a weird way to write him. Anyway, So I think that at this point, completely away from home, away from her own bed and everything like that, she would want, and so close to the end of her, the experience that she's in where she's going to have to choose, I think she would want comfort. So it wouldn't be like...
Also had a really long day, also been really busy, also basically this is a round 2 of the same sort of thing, and going, okay, I haven't learned anything, and fine, you want to spend time with me.
One of the boys aggressively jockeying for her attention in the morning before she tries to scramble out the door to get to work.
Right.
Kind of thing. Anyway, I feel like she would be in a space where she wants comfort. And for me, when someone really wants comfort and they're feeling lonely, it doesn't really matter who's there in a lot of cases. Right. You just want a body to hold you.
Right. There is also some potential, basically, interest on our part just to see where this goes. Like, at least for me. Like, I am partially curious, because we've talked about this a little bit before, actually, so before we turn the screen back on.
Yes.
Is basically just kind of like, I'm kind of curious, but I'm also kind of curious just because I am so confused also about how the writing treats Phoenix. If you haven't noticed, I keep mentioning, going like, I don't know what the crap the deal is, because he either feels like a completely badly written character, a character who's just kind of there to offer a confidence contrast to the other guys, and he literally has no background / information about him, really, other than he's aggressive and confident and sexual.
He has no personal conflict, and he shared nothing about himself. We've heard about both of the other people's experiences
extensively,
quite a bit, about with their parents, or what their childhood was like, or what their motivations are. We've got nothing from Phoenix but, hey, how are you? By the way, can I buy you?
Right?
Like... And then it'll be done. Totally great. First I'll just pick you up and take you, because that's done.
Right.
No. Oh, I can buy you and take you. That's done. No. What the hell do you require? Anyway, I'll figure it out. I got that. I'll problem solve.
Well, so it's one of those things, at least, that I'm curious character-wise, because, like, it's one of those things sometimes, like, you ever play a game, like, and this is not to justify, like, it's like, honestly, if you want to play a game however you want to play a game how you ever want to play it. That's how the game was intended to be played anyway, but I am curious as to why he almost exists. Because of how much, like, again,
if you took
the
him
writing...
Out, what would happen here? How would it change?
It would just
the
get
game?
down, I think, honestly, it'd just get down to Dylan and Rye, which I feel like maybe in the sense, like it really is maybe
it would just make it more and more like you're supposed to choose Dylan if you remove Phoenix.
Right.
Because Rye is I have run away from, my position and everything like that. And I just, now that I've seen you, I'm willing to go back to that hellhole because of you, but it will still be hell, but you'll make me tolerate it.
Right.
Like, again. Anyway, so I'm gonna share a bed with Phoenix. I did want to go from character motivation rather than from personal motivation of going, where are they going with this? We've already shared a bed with Phoenix.
Right. But there is also, again, that thing that I will say that part of this, because you're obviously not that character and you don't know what the writers are going off on.
Wild. What? I'm not so sure I trust myself, Phoenix. Are they going to make us go after him?
What?
I will feel him up like crazy. Like, no, please don't.
What? Huh?
It's okay. So long as you know you can trust me. That's kind of cute. but at the same time,
But
going,
also,
he
like-
also didn't give us like permission to feel him up like crazy,
Right?
or whatever it is.
That
we're
also,
thinking.
that is not saying like I give you permission to fill me up.
Okay.
Oh, there's the other thing, like
whoa.
I. Ha.
Really? Since when?
What? You gotta read it. You're both characters.
I know.
I appreciate how
It's just
stunned
like,
you
I'm
are.
having a reaction here. Okay. All right. Listen. You're the love of my life, Small.
I don't know anything about you, really. I know a little bit about you outside of my harem.
Like, honestly, I've never spent so much time just personally working to try and get a hold of someone. Usually it's a lot easier than this. And so I really feel very invested in you, very attached. I think that's love, isn't it? Like, I just feel like...
No.
No. Oh, no, I really think it is.
No,
like,
it's
my
not.
parents never had to work so hard for each other. And everyone in my harem, like, it really didn't take any time at all. Of course, you know, they're a lot lower class than me because, you know, they're not royalty at all. So for a couple of them, they're like, maybe like lower royalty. But, like, I had way more resources. So there could be some of that. But at the same time, I feel for you, Small.
No, Phoenix.
I'd
No.
never do anything to hurt you. And by that, I mean, no one can ever really genuinely say that. What they mean is, I would never intentionally try to hurt you, which is really, really what we're after. Because I could, you know, even like accidentally hurt you by throwing you on the bed like I did with you over my shoulder, like, and it didn't. I wasn't doing something to hurt you, but it did hurt you. So, you know, that kind of thing. It's a stupid thing. It's an empty promise, really.
Phoenix!
Sorry. Watch out for the belts. I got a lot of them. I mean, Dylan would be a nightmare to sleep with, to be honest. Like, God, pinching and poking everywhere, I think that'd be pretty bad. But I only got the
I'm
two.
surprised you're not the one who's going to be bringing up, you know, how much fun it would be to undo all the belts.
I just assume he sleeps in them. He's stuffy about everything.
You assume a lot.
Yes. Dylan, I actually do. I sleep in everything.
It's very comforting.
On top of the blankets.
Because I have a lot of pressure
completely covered.
and stress.
It's fine. Everything.
Aye.
In fact, I might even just buckle them tighter so that I know they're there and I'm not exposed. All right. Now, come on. Let's get in bed. Let's curl up in bed and watch old movies. Okay, that's adorable. He's like, it is Netflix and toast. I got this.
Yes! Netflix and toast!
So if you haven't seen the previous episode, that was a joke from there. It's really good. You should check it out. Anyway. Just like we're on a date. I have really learned about the dating. Do you know how much studying I did? I've never studied that much in my life. I mean, I've gone to my classes, but I'm one of those quick studies where, like, I just pick everything up if someone tells me, so I've never had to do homework ever. But for you, I have done so much homework. It's bizarre. That's love, right? That's love. I'm sure that's love.
Is that love?
A few minutes later, we're snuggled together in front of the TV. Okay,
That's adorable.
that's so cute. That's so, at the moment, so wholesome. Okay, so at the moment, I'm afeared.
Well, and again, though, like, okay, so I will say that I don't want to go across the implication that sex itself can't be wholesome. Sexual attraction isn't wholesome.
Sex can be completely wholesome, but given what they set us up with in the writing, so let me just go to the writing. Basically, you have him saying, I won't do anything, Small not being interested up to this point. And then abruptly suddenly going, I don't know if I can trust myself after we choose the scene.
Weird.
Feels very, very weird. So I'm having a little bit of it wouldn't feel wholesome in this case for them to have sex based on the previous setup of this author's experience. But even Phoenix has argued himself in our playthrough, sex can be incredibly wholesome and good, you know, in front of Dylan, basically, who's going, oh my God, inappropriate. And the Phoenix just being like, excuse you.
Right?
Like, sex between consenting partners who are all on board with things and interested, that is a beautiful, lovely thing. What's wrong with you?
Jack?
And then Dylan just had to concede of going, okay, well, I just don't talk about it, okay?
I'm uncomfortable. Yeah, well, that's not about me. That's about you more than me. Thank you.
Right, excuse you. That is not my problem that you are uncomfortable with my existence.
Thanks.
You don't have to be around me except for you're here sort of, you know, protecting your interest.
And
All right. I laugh at a funny part before glancing at Phoenix. You're not laughing. Do you realize that humor is cultural? Oh my God, humor has context.
Oh my God. Okay, actually, there was a really interesting video that we actually saw in relation to there was like basically
types of comedian and comedy.
Right, types of comedian and comedy, where basically they ended up talking about like Japanese humor, and they actually broke down basically a thing about like a bicycle joke.
So one specific comedy sketch that a team of comedians had done together.
Right.
So comedy teams are less common than individual comedians, but you can do a lot of different things with comedy teams, sort of like Laurel and Hardy did. Anyway, so he was talking about how comedy is really different across cultures. There's certain types of comedy that you can approach, like the two-man sketch, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then he broke down this particular sketch with these two comedians and the style that it was.
Right, absolutely. And they just basically broke down a joke and went, this is though how cultural it was, and they had to literally explain the joke, and even then, not everybody was going to get it. And I still thought it was actually kind of funny.
It was a little bit funny, but also it was really great because you listen to the sketch without context, and you're kind of like,
What?
Okay, whatever. Or at least for me as an American, I was. And then they explain that basically the joke is about like your bicycle not being cared for, / your bicycle being missing, / not having a bell on your bicycle kind of thing.
Right.
And they're just going at like bicycles. Everyone has them,
In
and
Japan,
they are your primary vehicle. So of course you wouldn't not take care of it. It's like somebody basically, it's just the context is essentially. Somebody not taking care of like their most important thing,
Right?
Kind of thing, like you just leave your house in disrepair and unlocked, kind of thing, or
Right.
or something preposterous,
Something that it's basically that ridiculous humor.
like going for,
like, why would you?
I'm
ever?
gonna run a marathon with my shoes untied, kind of thing, like something completely preposterous.
Yep.
And so he did his best to bring the viewer in on it. You know what? We'll try and link that video in here,
Right?
Because it's really quite good. But it's one of those things like my friend keeps talking about, like the subtitle explanations or the translation explanations, in Japanese like scanlations or fan dubs and fan subs, and that it gives you just so much more context that you wouldn't have.
Yes.
And in just like trying to learn a meme, you don't necessarily get all the context right away, but it gives you an in.
Right.
You know,
well,
so.
And again, to me, I always like that because it encourages basically cross-cultural understanding.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not saying that this thing then you need to appropriate it, but it's basically just like understanding and sharing and like comprehension.
Having
like, I
connection.
love
So,
that. Yeah.
One of the things that I learned, I've met a couple of people who are bi or trilingual, and one of the main things they will tell you is the more languages you know, the more humor you can get. Like the more puns you can make, the more jokes you can get. But also I've heard it from people like my dad, who is an embedded hardware engineer for like computers and stuff. He's like, the more geeky and nerdy you are about any one thing, the more fun you can have, the more jokes and humor you can get.
Right.
And for me, sometimes I'll go into like on Tumblr, which is my main like media area, and I will search up like specific tags that I'm not familiar with, such as like lawyer humor, which, oh my god, lawyers are freaking hilarious. Like I will just say. But the thing is you get to places, or like, you know, math humor or science humor, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And you get to places where you don't know, but since you've had like the basics, you go, but I want to get this joke, so you go to learn more. And it's really funny to have people, and really inspiring to have people go, I'm interested in learning more about culture, or more about a particular field, or more about a particular discipline, because I can have more laughter in my life, and I love that idea.
Yes.
Anyway, so but laughing, like, comedy does require context. And it is reasonable for a foreign person who comes from an entire other world, ostensibly,
right?
Not even just another country, to not get your humor because he doesn't have your context.
Yes, absolutely. But we don't know what it is in this case. We might actually find out that he's like, no, I can tell a way better joke.
He's like, honestly,
so much funnier than this person.
The humor's super low, bro.
I am so much
You're
better.
not laughing. Sorry, I guess I wasn't really paying attention. You're kind of sitting on me, and like, it's fine, but it's a little distracting.
I haven't seen anyone for a while.
You have to understand, I've been trying really hard to like healthfully meet my urges while I'm here in the human world and stuff, but like, it's a challenge, you know? And so, and I do not like, you don't find you unappealing at all, and it is, you do have a body. So like, stimulus, you know?
Thanks.
Really? Well, really? He's like, I'm really gay, my dear.
I
don't dislike you, you're just super gay, it's fine.
I'm very...
Small, right, I forgot about that. I forgot.
Right.
But honestly, from my gay / love interest, if you will, you know, that's not a bad compliment. It's not that bad. I'll try to think of it in a different context. Hi. It's fine. All right. Why are you staring at me like that? Are you watching me or the movie?
I think I just explained, my dear, what I was doing.
I'm pretty sure I told you straight out. I was thinking about you and the fact that we are squished together, and that's a lot of stimulus, really. And we're also much more alone than like I think of as camping, because camping is one of those things where anything could come up on you.
It's really exciting.
They live in a D&D style world. There's wandering monsters everywhere. Everything's a random encounter. He's like, so it's super exciting. Like, you could anything happen at the same time. You could have like
a squirrel could come out of nowhere, and you need to roll on your.
You could just have a raging fire beast just run into your campground, start rolling in your stuff, and you just got to fight. You got to shoot it out. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so good. It's so exciting.
Smart.
God,
Are you
your
okay?
camping with you was so dull. Honestly, I expect to get woken up like 9 times during the night by amazing beasts. It just hasn't happened.
I had really weird, unsettling dreams as a result. Like, it was really strange. Like, I kept waiting for something to happen.
And it
so
just
I kept
never happened.
vibrating all night. And then I woke up and I was really horny.
And God,
because nothing
I wanted to burn things and like
Nothing
work
happened.
and do something.
It sucked.
Oh my god, it was so bad. All right.
So bad. Why is your planet so boring?
God, your whole planet is so boring. Like, I've run around, like, in the woods, in the dark. Like, that's how I actually found you, in the woods. I was trying to find a random encounter. They're nowhere. Like, nothing. You have no wandering monsters. You have no surprise beasts. You have nothing that's super protective of, like, its lair. You don't got anything. I don't get it.
So
You're
weird.
gonna love the Dragon World. You've probably been bored here as hell. You're gonna love it.
What?
Small. Oh my god, what?
Right.
Are you
Somewhere.
watching me or the movie? You? Because, like,
I just told you.
honestly,
Stimulus,
one, I've told you a lot,
person.
but two, also, this is kind of a do or die sort of a night for me. Like, this is my last sort of, like, hurrah before I either kind of win, I don't call it winning, but it really is, or don't win, you know? And
Not
so,
a prize, thank you.
you kind of are, unfortunately. While you yourself are, your position really is. Like, I just don't want to lie to you about it, it's true. You were all after a prize, and while you might be a pretty cool person on your own, that sort of embodies this prize. Like, we're looking for status, and that's what you are. I'm not gonna lie to you. Small.
Thanks.
Honestly, I don't know if the truth is
Agency of
better or
objects.
not.
Why do I not has?
Why does has?
Nah.
Obviously, also going you, because, like, I think I'd like to remember all this. Whether I do get you or not, I think I'd like to remember this experience. It'd be really nice. So just
Well, I
watching
think
you.
it's at least like I will have shared in that, and it will be cool.
Yeah, and it'd be like part of my history, and, you know, whatever the case, like, once I get kids and stuff, because that's what you do as a royal, you gotta have kids. I'm
gotta
an
have
inheritor to the throne, you know.
I know
was just
what
saying,
that is.
and I will tell them all about it and be like, hey, in my generation, a Dragon Slayer princess was born, and I almost got to marry her. And one time, we did this thing where I went and stole her for the wedding thing, and they were just telling this giant, theatrical, playful way, and they were like, yeah, go, Dad!
Oh, be great. And then with part of my harem, which I could probably have kids with some of them, I'm sure.
That'd probably be
That'd
fine.
be fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
it'll
go.
work.
Yep.
Anyway, I always say you don't have to have them be like with a pedigree person. They're just, you know, it's just desirable, but it's not required at all.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's a legitimate heir.
Are you calling yourself a dog?
Huh? No.
Pedigree?
Oh my god, you have the weirdest use for that word. Honestly, it's very revered where I come from.
Yeah, well, they tried using that too for like the pedigree of royals, and then they inbred themselves a lot.
Yeah,
so...
well, you know, again, you guys use it super weird and in this really kind of dark, creepy way. For us, it's really more about who you've trained yourself to be, what you've
not
learned,
have
an
pets?
accomplishment. No, why would we have pets? They're all dangerous monsters that you fight in the bush.
Oh, right.
By the way, you're gonna love us. You're gonna love the Kavaya
I'm
Kingdom.
gonna die all
Horribly,
day.
instantly.
The pigeons outside, I will murder you.
The pigeons outside are 9 feet tall, and they're murder creatures. They're murder creatures.
Your whole
Now,
body vibrates with a coo.
with
and
the
you're like,
cooing, you're like, I feel it to the soles of my feet.
whoa.
And they also have teeth on those beaks. Ha! Ha! And you're just like, death! Wah! Penny's just like, I got it! Whoosh! Giant roast turkey appears anime style. Alright, you. Him talking like that is too dangerous. Okay, this is a sudden
Okay.
shift in the writing. My dudes, she
Okay.
was not interested until we chose that option, so this option shouldn't magically make her interested. What?
So, I'm gonna put forth an idea that I actually had.
Okay, what's that?
So, and I noticed it in the other Genius games that we've played as well.
Okay.
So, what I keep personally seeing, and I don't know if anybody will necessarily agree with me, and it might just be me, which is totally fine, that all of the options that are in the premium paid options, they all are more intimate or more romantic, or they have more character going on. Basically, that seems to be different. Like, it's like they've been building a, basically, story in the premium scenes.
A narrative, yeah.
Yeah, they've been building, like, there is something going on there, but then in the non-paid stuff,
But
they
it feels
basically
removed.
have a very straight line in regards to what they're writing. Like, it seems to be writing from, like, beginning to end. Dylan is always this way, Raya is always this way. We find out some more information, but nobody actually really changes. And it seems like in the premium scenes,
You learn more and
You
you get
learn
more. I also
more.
would tend to say there's a narrative of romance building in the premium scenes.
Right.
So far as I've seen so far. But outside of it, since the game doesn't account for which premium scenes you've chosen or who you,
Right,
the player,
exactly.
are interested in, they're separate narratives.
Yes.
It has to keep the main thing. If you didn't buy any premium scenes, and if you didn't show direct interest in anyone, or depending on who you wanted, it has has to be as bland and as neutral as possible.
Right.
And I think it really detracts from the experience of the paid scenes going, this doesn't feel natural anymore because you had to be so completely blank leading up to this because you couldn't tell, or you didn't have the mechanic in your engine to understand what interest we'd been displaying.
Which is exactly like the problem we had with Yowie Beast Boys. Remember? Because every time we picked the premium scene to basically go away from Alex, because we felt like basically we were being harassed / crammed into a corner all the time with him, it never did anything at all. And then we'd go back to the main story, we'd be like, there's such whiplash basically of him, like, so Jackson was the character that we were playing, and there was such a, I don't want this, I do want this, I don't want, like, it was immediately
I don't want this,
and full
I don't know what I want.
Every single time, and it was baffling, because it'd be like, we've clearly made a choice, but the choice literally means nothing. You're literally just playing through a narrative while getting extra little scenes, but the character themselves literally also never changes over the entire scenario for the most part.
It's like you've written 2 timelines and you've sort of fitted one in between the other in little paid slots. And the thing is since it doesn't affect the other one, and you're trying to keep it so bland and open, because so that you can account for whatever the heck the player is interested in and don't sound wrong about it, like you're trying to lead them in one direction or another, then it really just sort of hollows out the experience. For us, when you hit these paid scenes going, hang on.
There's no...
I am not able to even project my interest for one character or another into the bland, like flat, like all-inclusiveness of the main story. So then I suddenly hit something like this, and us going, oh, I have the ooh-woos. And the dokie dokies feels very strange, because again, she hasn't ever warmed up to him in any of our experience. And she still is professing completely undecided.
And again, unless it was a paid scene, like the thing with sleeping with Phoenix in the sleeping bag. I think that was a paid scene, at least. Yeah, so it was like suddenly her then going, but I love it. Like, what did you say? I was like, that was really weirdly like specific. And while I get where that scene can be funny, it really was sort of like, here is a crystalline version of that scene that you see in an anime. Boink, now you are participating in the scene from the show or the whatever. Like, it didn't feel connected.
Anyway, so hopefully we're breaking that down well, but basically it is a really weird experience. And again, them trying to be all-inclusive really detracts from basically the punch power that they could have if they went more specific. I think that's what we're going for.
Right, absolutely.
At least to a large degree.
And I think maybe in that way that would help actually, like, I know we're running a little bit long, but it's okay. But like, at least for me, I'm just going like, I feel like in that sense, like being able to have a much larger, basically, engine, like they might even just be limited by their own programming, honestly.
They might be.
Being able to be like, look, if you choose this, then now you're opening up all these other paths, and they're like, we cannot do this. All we can have is one story where it has to be the same thing pretty much from beginning to end with tiny little side episodes that sort of give you an idea.
I would tend to say that even if you wanted to do that, even if you needed to do that, there's ways you can put it in there of going, of like, you'd have just one thing. If you choose the premium scene, she could have one basically piece of dialogue that connects you to it. And that then you can infer in other places.
You can insert it, like, I feel like it wouldn't be that complex either, but maybe I don't know anything about programming.
I keep thinking that I could write a dating game and that it wouldn't be that hard. And maybe I'm going crazy, but at the same time, I thought about it really hard. So,
anyway, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. We've got some links in the description down below. It would be very much appreciated. Other than that, though, I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!